3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
Shout out to Airtime, y'all podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have a special guest today who was in town. We collaborated on an amazing event that he kind of put together for a lot of reasons. We'll kind of dive into that, but the biggest one, I believe, is community, and we will kind of deep dive on that general topic over the course of the next hour and a half before he's got to head down to the airport and head to the next stop of the Common Line. We have a very special individual, an artist, and now a homie, Lucas Beaufort, on the podcast. I know a lot of people pronounce the name different. Coming from France, how do you pronounce your last name?
Man, I've heard so many ways, I love American people say Lucas Beaufort, it's so funny because it's far to be this, but I kind of like people like say it their own way. Okay, you say Lucas Beaufort. It's the perfect way to do it.
Well, I'm stoked to have you on the show. Maybe we'll start open-endedly here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you came from, and how you got to be where you are now. The Cliff Notes version.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure to be in Whistler for 2 days and meet the awesome community there. I'm blown away. So my name is Lucas Beaufort. I'm a French dreamer. I love to say that because everything is based on this. I grew up in a small, not so small, like in the French Riviera, in a town named Cannes. I think everybody knows about Cannes. It's like the French film festival, like international event for 70 years. Grew up there in the 80s. I was born in 81. And I kind of like I'm a self-made man, kind of, even when I was at school, I didn't do my homework. I didn't do shit that people ask me to do. My mom was always like, what are we going to do with you? And I always said, Mom, trust me, I'm going to do something that I love. And yeah, people call me like the Swiss knife because I paint, I cook, I travel, I just do conferences, I help kids, I have older, I just want to be there for the people.
Where do you think that comes from? Like, not everybody is this Swiss Army knife. Like, how do you think that your thought process allows you to dive into so many different, interesting realms of this planet? Because you're not just doing one thing.
I think it comes for being an outsider. I love to be an outsider. I never thought I would be like the best skateboarder or the best artist or the best anything. I just feel like the reason I'm here sitting with you and talking, it's because I believed. And I did everything that I could to live the dream of like being this skateboarder first, because art came later. Everything started through skateboarding when I was a teenager, like 13, 14 in the 90s. And it was even hard to be accepted there. I was just like there with my skateboard and I, met the crew, like the local skateboarders, and they were not super friendly. They were like, show me what you got. Can you do a kickflip or something? A good thing? Like, how do you push? Mongo? Get out. So it was like kind of like this vibe in the 90s. Like you had to be very fucking true to it, So I was like, wow, to be accepted in skateboarding back then, it was hard. And I made it, I had to be true to it and be like, but I didn't know what it was, I was 14. I didn't know that you could ollie, for example, I just discovered this magazine one day and was like, what? You can't go over things? How? What's the magic behind it? So yeah, it's being like an outsider. When I was like a little kid, like I didn't have like the best marks at school, I was just like, my parents were scared for me. My teacher was like, what are we going to do with you? So I was like, always like this kid, and I was like, damn, I just want to be a skateboarder. I just want to live the dream of like living a life that suits you. But nobody really believed in me because they were like, Lucas, to be a skateboarder is not a job, They were like, it's just a piece of wood, it's just something to just have fun with, and that's it. And people are like, what do you want to do later? I want to be a skateboarder. I'm like, forget about it. So they ruined my dream, but I believe in it. And I was just like, anyway, I will keep going and let's see.
Was there a defining moment when you go from this kid who's maybe not the most popular and you're not killing it with your grades, and you know your teachers and your parents are asking like, Lucas, what are you going to do with your life? You know, I'm imagining there was a point where that was like hard to hear and challenging. What was the year, or was there a special incident that occurred that a switch turned and you're like, nah, I got this. I got my own lane going on here? Because as somebody who can really relate to what you're saying, I felt like, well, I didn't feel like I wasn't the greatest at school. My teachers and parents were having the exact same conversations. Like, what are we going to do with him? So to me, like, was there a defining moment where you switched gears from being like, well, everyone's telling me like I'm not that smart and like I'm not doing this, to like, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing and it's going to work out? Or did you always have that kind of ingrained in yourself?
I think it came step by step. Like, I think discovering skateboarding really fucking set the tone, you know, like saved my life kind of, because I remember skateboarding when I was 6 years old with my brother. It was just like a plastic board and we just like going down on the knees. My mom, she was pissed. She was like, you have your whole clothes like covered with dust and holes. And I was like, yeah, mom, it's so fucking cool. And then you know what she did? She put the skateboard away because she was tired of us like having like dirty clothes. And then at the age of 13, she asked me like, what do you want for Christmas? I said, I want my skateboard back. And she was like, oh, okay. So we went to a skate shop in Toulouse. It's one of a big city in France. And then I discovered the world, and then I met friends. And then I did that until like forever. You know, I skate less. I'm 44, but it's still like around me. And I think like, yes, I dreamt about like being pro or whatever, you know, sounds crazy. But when I was 16, I was just like doing everything to be an artist in skateboarding. And it didn't happen. It's okay. But then when I finished my degree, I just did like, you know, business, whatever things, you know, I didn't know what to do. And I did what was in front of me. And then my friend started a magazine, and it just like said like, hey, do you want to work with me? It's a kind of like a crossover skate, snow, and surf named Desillusion. Some people, I'm sure they heard about it. And we started from scratch, literally. I didn't know how to make a magazine. I didn't know how to, you know, do things. We just like did a zine, and then it became a big thing 5-6 years later, you know? So what I mean, it's like, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be this person. I just like learned by making things, you know? And this magazine was a big way for me to learn about the culture, to learn about like the brands and the industry. And then art came after, and now I'm like full-time artist. But yeah, like it wasn't like a time where I was like, oh, wow, this is a moment for me, you know? It's just like I learned step by step, you know? It was like one step, second, third, and then here, now.
So looking back at like skateboarding, you said you grew up in 81. Still, for most places, other than maybe like California and a couple places, it's still like a pretty big subculture, you know? Like looking back now, what elements of those like subcultures like skateboarding and snowboarding attracted to you in the first place? Like,
you know, it's just like, it was against establishment, you know. I remember the first time I saw like the Volcom, you know, thing, you know, because I think Volcom was 1991 or 1992. So I literally saw the brand like brand new, you know, just with the logo, you know, with the diamond or the rock or the stone. And I was like, the youth against establishment. That's my whole life, you know. I wasn't like listening at school. I was always like, Lucas, get out of the class, you know, we're tired of this. So I was like, this is skateboarding. And then I started to discover videos and things. I was like, wow, this is exactly like what I want to do. Something with no rules, you know. When I started to skateboard, it was no skate park. It was just like the city. And we were like, people would hate it on us because we were like doing tricks on curbs, on like, you know what it is, like skating the city. and we were not accepted at all. But I fucking loved it. You know, we were like 50 skateboarders in the city with backpacks, and we were just like, we have the city as a playground, you know. So I just fucking loved it at the moment when I understood that there's no rules in skateboarding, you know. And same for snowboarding, you know. It's like I discovered skateboarding and snowboarding at the same time. The only thing is like skateboarding was easier for me because it was just like getting out of your house and you go skate. Snowboarding, it was like, fuck, I need more money. And money back then wasn't like, I didn't have money back then, you know. As my mom was just like, if you want to go snowboard, figure it out, sell cookies or... So, you know, I grew up like this kid of like, if at the early age, I understood that if you want to make things happen, even if you're 13, move your ass. That's what I said to myself, you know. Just, otherwise, you will wait forever. So yeah, it was literally like I understood right away that the skate world and the snow world was made for me because it was a how you say culture. What's the
counterculture?
Yeah, no. What's the oh man, just like what's the word to say, the youth against establishment. It's like a culture that is like, with you make it the way you want to make it, you know. It's like there's no real rules, you know. That's what I love, you know, just like no rules.
I love that you said move your ass or nothing's gonna happen. I think that was like dope, because I think a lot of people that have dreams or aspirations from a young age, let's say that they didn't want to take the shot at skateboarding or their art or whatever, and now time is flying by, and if you don't proactively move and try new things, like nothing will happen, nothing will become of that. And I really that one hit. But another sense of skateboarding, at least for myself, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is just the feeling of belonging. Like, I think skateboarding was the first time I felt like I belonged. Did you feel like that too, you know? Or was it like, were you like really good at like the piano or soccer and you were in the club and everyone was Lucas, but you start skating and you're bombing around these hills and where you're from with 50 kids, you say, you know, it's like that fucking sense of community is so special.
You know what happened? When I met those kids, I was like, they're the same as me. Not like really into school. They were all doing different things. I remember it was like this kid playing like piano, this kid playing guitar, and this kid like loving like taking photos. We were like a bunch of like little kids that were just like trying to find like a family kind of, you know. And we found each other. And when I go back to Cannes, because now I live near Paris, I meet them all. We're all like with kids and everything. And it's just like, do you remember that those days in the 90s? And we go to the 3 flat 4 stairs plaza, you know, where we used to skate. And like we all go together. And I do remember Greg did a kickflip on the 7 stairs. And back then was a thing, you know. And I don't know. I have so much nostalgia of this. You know, it was no phone, nothing. We literally have no photos from like, say like, Lucas, can you show me a photo of you skating when you were 16? I have nothing, literally nothing. And everything is in my head, and I kind of like will never forget that this thing is the beginning of my life. You know, of finding a place, finding a room, finding a reason to love life. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't like in a shitty hole when I grew up with super awesome parents that were like, especially my mom. My mom raised me and alone with my brother, and she had a hard time with us because we were like fucking psycho kid, you know, was always like fighting against each other. But she never really said like, don't skateboard, you should just be good at math. She was like, if you like it, please do it. And now she's 70 and I take her everywhere, you know. She's never been to the US. I took her to New York. She's never been to Utah. It was her dream. I took her there. And I was like, Mom, do you know how I make it? I made it. It's because I believe that skateboarding was a thing for me and art as well. And because of my passion, now I take you all over the world. If I listened to you, I would have been like maybe a different person, like what, accounting, or like in a safe place in a company. 30 years straight and like working 9 to 5 and like having my weekends. I didn't want to have this life. I wanted to have my, a very special fucking life that is like suit me, you know. I never say to people like travel the world and no, do you. If you're happy to be in Seattle or in Whistler your whole time, great, you know. Be who you want to be.
Yeah, and the worst thing about school is it really tries to put you in a box and it tries to make everyone think the same. And I like that you said that when you were skating with those 50 homies, it was the first time you were like, we all kind of think the same, you know? Like, when I was skating at the skate park, the one thing that I knew, especially looking back, is that we all kind of thought the same about how school was going on. We were like, you needed to study, and then you needed to understand, and it was through textbook and reading. And as somebody who's hands-on and more visual, I was like, there's no way this is going to stick. Like, I'm in the back of a class opening a textbook, and all I'm hearing is the sound of a clock, and I'm reading, and nothing's sticking in my brain. You know, it's a bucket with a bunch of holes in it, and everything's going out. And the only thing I'm thinking about at the age of 12 was skateboarding. You know, and that was such a special thing. I remember so many times having the binder leaned against the desk, and I would like, hey, are you studying, you know, Sokotoa and these like triangles and stuff? I'm like, not really. I'm reading a Thrasher magazine right now, and it's like the most interesting thing. It's almost like opening up this like magical box, and you're like, what? There's more to this. And I don't think kids now will ever understand what that truly felt like because they're so exposed to it. So it's such a different landscape now than how you grew up and how you found skating. Like it was a very special time. And I look at those times with, I don't even know what the word would be, but you saying that you went back to that set with some of your friends and you're like, they kick flip down this, you know, this 7 stair, like my homie did that. And it was like, you know, in 1992 and like people weren't doing kick flips then, you know, like Mark Gonzalez was and a couple other people, but like the local homie that can bust and the inspiration that person provides you is wild. The local talented skater. What was his name? One of your favorite skaters that was local.
Yeah, it was like Greg Lackmo, I'm sure. Like
shout outs, Greg. Like everyone's got that homie, Greg Lackmo. Lackmo.
Yeah, I remember it was just like, it was the youngest little kid, but with the best style. And it was just like jumping 12 stairs. Nobody could jump 12 stairs. And everybody were like, this kid is going to be pro. You know what happened? I think we collected, I don't know if we collected money, but I think it went to Paris to be noticed, kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go to Paris for a weekend so they can see, like, because it was hard to get noticed back then, you know. So he went to the Dome and like all the incredible like spots in Paris, and so many like OGs from the Dome like noticed him, and then when he went back, it was like him coming back from the US, like, what happened? I was like, dude, they loved me, and I gave my number. We'll see, you know. It didn't ended up to be pro, whatever, you know. But I saw him like few summer ago, and we went skateboarding. I was like, dude, you still have the flick, you know. You still do like your nollie hard flip, and it was like, dang, that's amazing, because he didn't skate for like 10 years, and I gave him a skateboard, and he was still like, you know, when you have this, it's just like it's forever.
Yeah, some people have it forever. Some people like me have lost it all. You know what I mean? Like my stock tricks now. I went to the skate park this year and I'm like, just do a half cab tail slide. It's like, nah, that's gone. Like gone forever. It's like, you know, it is kind of what it is. For me, it's like you either do it consistently or you kind of lose it. A question that's a little bit off topic to what I was just speaking about that kind of popped in my mind. Artist keeps getting brought up with this. You are an artist. From your perspective, what makes somebody an artist?
That's a very good question. I think it comes to, let me go back a little of how it started for me, because I wasn't supposed to draw or paint at all. You have to know that I started at 27. Who starts painting at 27? Normally you just like start when you're young and then it evolves. I started out of the blue. I drew something for my brother for Christmas because I was like, okay, I'm going to buy another t-shirt. I will put it in the closet. Like every stuff he has already, let's make it special. And this first drawing made everything because then I gave it to him, and then my family was there. It was like, oh, you draw? I'm like, no, that's the city drawing. It's just for my brother. And then someone from the crowd was like, can I have a canvas? I'm like, yes, of course. Do you want a canvas from me? I don't know how to do it. So I made a canvas for free, of course. You don't expect any money. And then the canvas was done on the wall, and then another person showed up, saw the canvas. It was like, who made this? Lucas draw? Like, because you know what it is. People love to put you in a box, So I was like back then working for the magazine, and I was selling ads. So I was the money maker kind of, and I was just like making business with brands. And then for them, I was like this guy. When I started to draw, it was at the right time when Facebook started. So when I put my first drawing on it, people were like, what the fuck, this is bullshit. Because again, people that can't understand that if one day you do something different, they're like, that's weird. And I didn't care. I was just like, because I had no visions really. I was just like, this is a side fucking project. I'm going to put it there. I don't know how Facebook works. And I started to get like new friends, or what it is. It's just like, whoa, I have 5,000 people I don't know. But they look at my stuff and they started to reach out. Like, can I buy this? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then, so I was just like doing my thing with the magazine. And then my art became like bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, guess what? The brands I used to work with, they started to be like, hey, what if you draw like something for me? I remember Arcteryx, like Goggle and Paco Malouis. If you listen to this, thank you. It was the first one to say like, hey, we have like this group show with those artists. Do you want to be involved? And it was at the Volcom, because Volcom and Arcteryx was in the same kind of like umbrella back then. I was like, fuck yeah. So it was my first show. And then it was like, the snowball thing. You just like throw like a little like peanut, and then it goes like bigger and bigger. And I quit the magazine 6 years after I started, because I was like, damn, I have a chance, I think, But it wasn't like, people ask me like, when do you know it's time? I think the key is like, don't quit your job right now. If you have a side project that you love, that is your passion, keep doing what you do, make your money, because we all need to pay bills, But on the side, if it's something you love, you're going to draw all night on the weekend. Keep doing what you do. And then it's going to go like bigger and bigger until like it's the right time. Because you obviously need to make a little bit of money, So I had a plan. I already like, okay, I can make this much a year. So it's time to leave, and I try my chance. So it's been 11 years that I'm like full-time artist, and I'm living a dream every day, because I travel the world, but again, I think it's important to say like, if everything happened to me, it's 85% because I make it happen. Like, I have brands reaching me out. I have like people like Gary's and stuff, but what it is, 20%? If I had to wait for things to happen, I would wait forever. So an advice I would say is just like, don't wait for opportunities, get them. That's what I did my whole life. It's just like, you know what? I don't wait for this. I just like reach out. How many people I reach out? 1,000, 2,000, maybe. How many slapped I had on my face? 999, But you need just one yes. Or just turn the no on yes, When somebody says no, I'm like, okay, I will change it to a yes. Because it's actually, a no is a future yes to me.
Well, like, if you don't knock on the door, you never know what's on the other side. You know what I mean? If you want to do something in life, you got to kind of make yourself seen, known, and respected, and there's a lot and trusted. There's a lot of like elements to brands working with you at the beginning, but in order to continue, as yourself has done so well, and in order for you to continue working with so many different companies, that respect and that trust needs to be in your case, in the artist, or in somebody who's running a business at any extent. Those things, trust and respect, your name is like your business, you know what I mean? So you burn a couple bridges and you don't show up and you do a shitty job, like, word spreads fast. Like, snowboarding is a small community, but snowboarding is attached to action sports. And if you are coming from skateboarding and you burn all the bridges in skateboarding, that ripple effect is profound. And then before you know it, you've burnt every bridge in action sports and you're done. So just knowing when you do step out into the world and you start producing things to do your best job and show up, because as someone who's now like, you know, working with a lot of brands, the one thing that I try to do with Airtime is to like really show up, you know, like you were so kind to be like, yo, like I would like to work with you on the Common Line. I'm coming here to Whistler. Like, let's collaborate on this. And I was like, we both got to show up. You know what I mean? And so when you do something for a company, you know, showing up is such a key part of the success of that like whole partnership. And like another thing, like something that's popped in my head is just the expectation of money when you're at the beginning of something. Like so many artists and so many people who are starting these business ventures, as soon as they started, that year 1, that year 2, that year 3, that year 4, it should be most likely it's going to be a grind. But like you said, like do it for that passion. You got home from work, and if you love art, you're doing it until midnight. And when you're only doing it for a monetary value, I think that sometimes that bleeds through your work and your personality, and people can see that. You know what I mean? Like if everything you do is for a paycheck and it is your passion project, like, do you think that someone can be a genuine artist if they're only inspired to get money from that?
Hell no. I feel like, again, I love the word of to be an underdog, you know, or outsider, because it was my whole life. I was like, not good at school. I had to find a way. I was like cheating sometimes. Give me the what's the answer for A or B? You know, I was just like smart kid, you know. And then skateboarding to be accepted. It was like a long road, you know, because in the 90s it was hard. And then the magazine. Honestly, Desillusion, when we started and a lot of people know about it, it was just like 5 pages with a lot of mistakes and like whatever on it, you know. And then every single issue we were like, let's do it better and better and better. It was my mindset my whole life. How can we make it better? And people laughed at us. They was like, what is this shitty magazine? And then guess what? 5 years later, those people that were laughing at us call us like, what the hell happened? I said, we just wanted to improve all the time. When you think you like good, like you can improve yourself, you're like, that's the worst moment ever. You need to always find a way to make it better. And when I started to draw things, same thing. Nobody like waiting for me to be like who I am, like as an artist, to be like, what the fuck, Lucas is painting now? And then as an outsider, I had to make it and prove like that they were wrong. And this is who I am now, you know. And like, if I tell you, like, I've been around the world 7 times. I've been to the craziest hotel. You know, it's just like I never could afford a 5-star hotel, and I dreamt about it because, as everyone, you're like, why am I not allowed to go to a 5-star hotel because I don't have the money? I just like find a way, you know. And that's my whole life, you know. It's like I want to work with this guy, even if the president of France or whatever. I find a way. There's nothing that can stop my dreams. And this is like a mindset that I want to spread. It's like, I think there's a magical thing on every people on earth. And I hate people saying like, Lucas, calm down because everybody's not amazing. I'm like, you're wrong. I think if they're not amazing, it's because they didn't find this little thing inside them, you know? And I feel like there's something special on every single person. If you got it young, good for you. If it happens later, it's still good, you know. I have big hope for people, man. And why am I doing the Common Line? It's because I want people to think it's possible for them, you know, to be included. I want the Common Line, like, open your eyes and be like, I'm 18 years old and I want to do my Common Line my way in the future, you know, because I think it's not for a certain amount. I don't like to say it's for the elite or for certain people. It's for everyone, but you gotta work crazy, you know, like that's the thing. Like I work 24 hours a day. Sunday, it's like Sunday night, 11 p.m. when everybody sleeps, I'm on my email because I talk to Australian people, like on the other part. And then when it's like 9 p.m., it's the US wake up, you know. It's like I never stop, and maybe I'm gonna die young. I don't want to knock on wood because I work crazy, but I just want to live the life that I dream of, you know, like being here for the Common Line in Whistler, meet the community was a dream for me, You know, I always like dreamt to go to Whistler and ride there, but for a reason, not just to show up as a tourist and snowboard. No, it's like meeting the guy, Jody, you, and making this project happen was a dream that I had for a long time. And guess what? It's happening because I just fucking believe. And I tell the world, believe. Well, yes, we live in a crazy world with like negativity all the time, and I just erase it. I'm like, I don't want to hear about this. I just want to say like, let's keep hoping. It's so important.
And skate and snow and surf culture or action sports culture, it encompasses like showing up to be accepted by your peers, which is a really cool and interesting thing that's really specific to action sports, especially skateboarding, snowboarding, but and surfing. But you know, this is more skate and snow talk right now. But like, there is something that's so special about showing up to the skate park day after day, and you finally kind of get accepted into that club. And while that whole process of showing up at day after day is, you're also trying to like learn these tricks that are hard, that are out of reach, that at the time, thinking of a kickflip when you're a kid who's just trying to learn how to ollie seems impossible. And then, you know, a kickflip 50-50 seems insane. And then, you know, the tricks you see people doing now, they seem so far out of reach. But what you were talking about there about being an artist and just not giving up with the pursuit. And as long as, you, like you were saying there, you're staying up till the wee hours, writing these emails and putting the effort in. But know that if you, as an individual, puts the effort in, you can be great at anything, you know? It's like the dream mixed with the effort, you know? You need to kind of have two of those and, you know, a lot of other skills at the same time, because it's, to be great at something, it comes at a cost, but it's an exciting, like I'm looking at you as somebody that is very inspiring to me. And from spending 3 days with you, the one thing that you project is like, you're very grateful. You give a lot of time to others. Like you're super down to like meet the person, sit down and talk to them, look them in the eyes and like digest what they're saying and give them real-time feedback and building a community, you know, and all these layers of what I see in you. It kind of seems like all of those characteristics came from skateboard and snowboard culture. Like what defines like a good skateboarder when you're really young, those habits that you practice not giving up at the skate park ripple effect into your whole life. Like you just don't quit. You know what I mean? Like the person that goes to the skate park and gives up once they learn the kickflip, you know, that was the end of their road. But like if you keep going, like you can be the greatest at anything if you just put the hard work in. And I think there's so many interesting things about skateboarding and snowboarding that when you really look back at your whole fucking start to the end of your snowboard chapter, you learn so many fucking lessons through that. And then when you get older now, like it's not even about the snowboarding, it's about what you learned from snowboarding.
Yeah.
And I think we learned a lot of things along the road that sometimes you look at this culture and you're like, we're all so interesting and stuff. People who stay and skate and snow their whole fucking life. Like you do have a lot of knowledge that you can pass on to people and you can be really inspiring. And it's really nice for someone like yourself who comes from skate to pass on that knowledge.
You know, when I think twice, from the group of friends we were back then, like 50 skateboarders, and like so many were like way better than me. I am the only one still in the fucking industry. And that's okay, you know? I see people like doing like different things. I was like, wow, you're a banker now? You used to like throw like water on the windows and say, fuck bank and whatever, you know? I mean, you can change your mind anyway, you know? But it's crazy that the little kid from this place like made it happen. And I go to universities and school like all the time, you know, just like to express the idea that everything's possible. And like professors and teachers freaked out all the time because I don't say that, you know, like lets them like being like scared of life, because every time you have a dream, you say your dream, they say, not possible. Just get a job. That's enough. You know, I just want to spread the idea it's possible. And when I do this conference, an hour later, I have a queue of like 100 kids And I'm like, Lucas, I've been waiting for this for 22 years. And I'm like, and then I go check with the teacher. I'm like, does it inspire you like to hear that? Why they've been waiting for 22 years to hear somebody say like, it's possible only if you believe and if you work hard on this. And that's what's missing nowadays. Like, especially at school, it's like, it's everything about like money. It's everything about like the society, you know. When it's funny when I meet new people and I say I'm an artist, they're like, must be hard. You live at your parents' house, you know? And I'm like, oh man, sit down. And I'm going to tell you some stuff. And then an hour later, it's like, what the hell? I didn't know that you could do that. It's because in your head, an artist is the poor dude that's just like trying to live a poor dream. And I think we have too much of opinions on everything. And even if I meet someone from an industry that I don't fucking like or whatever, you know, I'm like, tell me about it. You know, I'm curious. And you might change my mind right after this conversation. You know, I try not to have like any opinions on people. You know, even the worst guy on earth, I try to find something good on him. So rather than just hating on people, we just sit down and talk.
I love that. Yeah. The person that has a different perspective on you might only be like a conversation away from having a more similar perspective as you know, if you give them the time of day. Like a lot of people that are just super negative too and pissed off are people who maybe never took a shot at their dreams, but they've never had anybody to tell them that their dreams are worth taking a shot at. You know what I mean? So you said you went there to the university course and you're telling these 22-year-olds to like, you know, dream big, follow your dreams. Like you can do it too. Maybe some people have heard that through a lens that didn't feel genuine, you know? But if you genuinely sit down with a young kid and look them in the eyes and give them the time and like really even get to know them on some degree and be like, no, you do have everybody, like you said, has an offering that they could bring to the table, but it's whether or not they're willing to throw enough shit at the wall to see what that offering is, you know? Sometimes you try to do art for a while and it's just not for you, and that's fine to not continue down that path. But at least you tried, you know what I mean? And then maybe your thing is going to be whittling with wood, you know? And you don't know unless you try it. But I think so many people limit the trying based on what their environment and the people that they were hanging around with when they were younger, because they told them that they're in this box, you know? We all know, as being, like you and me specifically know this, when you are a youth and older people than you, who in your eyes have all the answers, but they don't necessarily do, tell you something about yourself, you almost start getting hardwired to just believe that. And it can become super, super counterproductive later in your life to believe those things that shitty mentors in your life left you with.
And, you know, I love talking about the youth because I give so much love to them. They're like my biggest inspiration, like the schmob people, you know, like here, the crew, the snowboard crew, you know, it was amazing to see like how passionate they are at a young age. But I also love to talk to other people. Like I always meet new people on the plane, on the bus, on the train. And I remember this Uber driver from London. I was at Heathrow Airport and he took me to the city. We had an hour conversation. And he said, what are you here for? I'm an artist. I paint. He was like, dude, wow, you live your dream. I'm like, yes. And I was like, do you live your dream as driving your car? Because why not? Why should I judge him as a driver? I was like, maybe he loves it. And was like, is it like your dream to drive this car? And he was like, hell no, I need to pay bills. Oh, that's a bummer. And what do you like? He was like, dude, you don't want to know? I'm like, yes, please. Oh, I love Kung Fu. Sick. And where you at? I'm like 9 black belt, you know, it's super insane. I was like, why not doing stuff in Kung Fu? And was like, how? And I'm not here to give him like a business plan, you know. I was like, damn. What if this weekend, you have like friends? Yes. How many? I don't know, 10, whatever. So what if on this Sunday, you take 3 of your friends at the park, you give them like an hour lesson for free, and then the next weekend the 3 people needs to bring another one. He was like, damn, you don't need money. You just take 2 hours of your time during the weekend. I gave him like my number. 6 months later, he sent me a photo of him and 30 people at the park. And he said, thank you. It made me cry, you know. I was like, this example shows you like it's just a question of like, be humble. You don't need a studio right now. Do it outside with no money and grow like this. I don't know where he's at nowadays. Maybe he has his studio class and he does these things, but you can duplicate this in everything. If you don't have the money for this, just go like slow, you know. You don't need to be the fucking rock star right now. Maybe you'll be, maybe not. But this example of the kung fu guy driving Uber driver made me think that everything's possible, really, you know. I don't know what he does now, you know, but I like to say this example to everyone just to tell you, like, you have to start somehow and don't think that you have to get money from the bank. Forget about this. Just do it step by step. And you're going to have 1 guy, then 2, then 10, and then you create your community.
Yeah, and through being authentic, those beginning chapters, that authenticity of, you know, showing up, doing that kung fu with your 3 friends, not knowing what you're doing. 6 people show up, you do a bit better of a job, but there's so much room for improvement. 30 are there, it's overwhelming. You don't even want to go that morning, but you still show up, and you just, through not fucking quitting, but loving what you're doing, and it being so authentic, and people being able to, humans are getting so smart, I think, at realizing what's authentic and what's not and what's real. And people are going to get sick of what's fake, you know, and what's not genuine, you know. And I think that if that person kept pushing with their whatever martial art they get into, like, they won't even realize where that will go. Like, look at yourself. Like, you said you started doing art at 27. There's no way at 27 when you first started doodling, you were like, and this is going to transpire to me doodling on my favorite skateboarders, you know, brands, product, and snowboard product, and traveling around and going to Whistler and doing a worldwide tour called The Common Line. Like, there's no way you, in your wildest dreams, or maybe that's a bad example because you seem like somebody who has wild dreams and will follow those. But not everybody is such a believer of their dreams, you know? And I think, like, hopefully this conversation inspires some people to, like, you know, take a shot at, like, that thing that's been kind of, you know, in the back of their mind, whatever that may be. And I like that you didn't even look over the fact that that driver's dream potentially was driving. And the weird thing is, when you brought that up, I actually was with a cab driver one time, and he told me, like, a bit of his life story. And he's mentioned that, like, he's retired. He has so much money. He loves driving people around the city. Like, he loves it. And I'm like, so you don't know if that, like you said, you didn't think less of him or anything for driving a cab. All you thought is, hey, are you living your dream too? And I think that's a really cool perspective, because the person at the gas station literally might be like, I fucking love working at the gas station. And some people genuinely like the most peculiar of jobs because we're all so interesting, you know. It's mind-blowing when you ask for someone's opinion and it's so different than yours. You know, how did you like this movie? It's my favorite movie ever. And to you, you're like, how do you like this movie? You know, some people are like, Queen, the greatest artist of all time. Other people are like, Queen? How the fuck do you like Queen?
We are judging so fast things, you know. It's just the biggest problem in the world nowadays, you know. It's like, we don't respect people choices. It's like, I don't want to argue with people about a movie or music, you know. It's like, we all have preferences, even with snowboarders and skateboarders, you know. Yes, we can talk about our preferences, but do I have to make you prefer mine now? I think, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't think so. I think you should keep loving who you love and tell me why, and that's about it, you know. Because if we fight about it, that shows you, like, that's the problem nowadays. It's like, I don't want to talk about politics, but why are we fighting every day? Why those people fight every day? It's because they don't respect people's choices. And it's like, what? You like this guy? You shouldn't. I'm like, no, like who you like, you know, and just like, do you? And it's the same with everything. I think, like, the hate that exists in the world is because we don't respect people's choices. And we don't have to be all okay with, like, oh, do you prefer this beer or this beer? Like, prefer what you like. And that's fine. That's okay, you know. I just want people to understand that, also the society plays a very hard thing on us, on our shoulder, you know. Like me, to think that I could be an artist. Bro, you have the society monster behind you like, hell no, bro. Forget about it. It's not a job. It's not a life, you know? And it's the same with everything. Like, I know a lot of people that want to be someone, they're scared because they know the society will they take you straight to the line. No, man, you can't be this guy. This is not accepted. And that's the problem, you know, nowadays. It's just like, you know, it's like same with kids, for example. I'm 44, I don't have kids. And people are like, why you don't have kids? You want to know why? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it's like, you want to have kids? 10? Have 10 for me. But people judge. They're like, oh, you're 44? You don't have kids? What's wrong? You know, it's like, what's wrong with not having kids? You know, it's another thing that society is behind, reminding you, hey, time is running out, you know, like go quick, do things. I see people having kids with like people they don't fucking like. And then, you know what happens 6 months later? They speed up. Wow. You know, it's just like, and again, I don't blame them. The society tells you like, have a house, have a job, have a kid. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's the world we live with something like heavy in our back, you know, like, and to be who you want to be, it's very difficult because of everything I mentioned, the society things. Like, is it accepted to be different? Not really. But do I want people to be different? Hell yeah.
Well said. Yeah, it's interesting because you said society there, and in society, I look at these brands, you know, that brands that have such a big impact on what makes a society think a certain way. Like they have such a big grasp on us. And it's kind of like a brand is bullshit for the most part. Most are trying to be what we are. You know what I mean? Like they hire an artist because they're not an artist. They hire a snowboard team and R&D snowboarders and people that work in that space because some of these brands aren't that, you know? And so many of these brands are pushing a narrative based on trying to get like sales, like stuff back. And then you as a snowboarder who's like trying to carve out a lane, you start following what these brands are doing, but don't follow what the brands are doing. The brands need people to carve out their own lane so they are getting guided by the individuals who are the culture, you know? Like, it's so weird to me that the culture sometimes follows the brands, but that's not how it should go. The individuals in the culture that skate and snowboard, the brand should be following those people, you know, rather than if you're a young kid right now, don't look at these big skate and snowboard companies and be like, that's what they're doing. That's what I have to do. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do that at all. Do your own thing and then find a company later on in your life that aligns with your vision. And it should be a win-win. Like, you should be happy to ride for them, and they should be so excited to have somebody who is a creative free thinker on board with that company.
That's so true, man. It's like, even I talk with a lot of brands all the time, and I love to remind them that I'm not here to please you. I'm just have a dream. I explain you my dream. Do you want to follow me in this dream, you know? And I love to be like, I'm not at the mercy of the brand. I want the brand to help me to make my dream come true, because this dream is not related to me only. It's for the group of people. Look at the common line. This is nothing, like, I'm just here to link people together. And that's my favorite thing on earth, is to connect and bring more people together. And since I'm here, I just like, before meeting you, I met this girl and his dad, and it's like, we were there for the round table. Wow, I want to go to Switzerland now. I want to do the whole tour. Wow, really? And they said, you inspire me so much. And I was, how old are you? I'm 18. And I was like, wow. And I was just saying, like, see, the common line inspires you. I hope it will inspire you to do your own project like this way. It could be anything. Don't be a snowboarder. Don't be a skateboarder. I say that all the time. Don't be an artist. You want to just draw on cans every day? Go for it. You want to walk with snow boots around the world? Go for it. The weirdest, the better, you know? There's a room for anything. You just need to, again, be happy with what you do, you know? Like, bro, 90% of, go outside, ask people if they're happy with what they do as a living, like working, I'm talking. Man, what is the percentage? You want to try it tomorrow? Ask 100 people, do you like what you do? Like, and why 90% of the people I meet, they don't like what they do? How fucked up is this? Like, why the world is so fucked up about it? Why we're not able to chase our dreams and be who we want to be? I think we can change that. And it's happening nowadays with all social media. You see, like, a 14-year-old kid has his own platform and is like cutting things and showing in and then get money, monetize this thing. Wow, that's amazing. It's an amazing time right now for people to find their way and be their own boss. Like how many friends you have that have their own platform on Instagram and do their thing more and more. And the society don't like it because they're like, oh, are they like paying taxes and stuff like that? Yes, they are. They're not like, they are in the system, they just want to be who they want to be. And that's something that will like carry with me all the time. Every place I go, I'm like, do you like what you do? Yes. Give me a hug. If you say, I love what I do, no matter what, as you said, like driving, Uber, is it a bad thing? Hell no. If you love what you're doing, put some music on, get the vibe, every time I meet some people, I'm like, what do you like to eat? Bro, I'm from Cameroon, and I love this thing. I'm like, wow, I want to go to Cameroon now, It's just like, very important to listen to yourself. I keep saying this, but that's what drives me, and like just to spread the idea. It's not just, I'm just this guy from France trying to spread an idea. And this idea is like, be who you want to be. It's just so simple. There's nothing religious or politics behind it. It's just like, you want to, I don't know, juggle with nice? Yes. And you might say, how am I going to get paid for it? Think about it. There's a way. I know a guy that is getting paid by just juggle with things on Instagram, and he's big time now. So everything's possible. Even like the weirdest idea could be a thing.
Totally. It's the thing meshed with the individual. And so I think if you come off authentically yourself, there's going to be people that are drawn to that because no one's ever seen that character before. So it's immediately inspiring because you're like, whoa, who is this person? They're so unapologetically being themselves. And we all know people like that. And for the most part, those are the people that I would say that have it, that are unauthentic, or that are so themselves that they are cool, And I think a lot of people try and be cool, but it's almost like an impossible thing. Like some people, a very small group of people can go through life just being like cool, like they naturally pick up on stuff. But they naturally picked up on those things most likely because they had mentors in their life and they were around a space that allowed them to kind of like, your space is such a big play in this. You know what I mean? Like when somebody's environment is inspiring, I think they can, and if they allow themselves, they can become inspiring. Like if you live in a big city, it's up to you to choose to go left or go right. You know what I mean? Like you can go to the art show or you could go back to the bar and get drunk again. You know what I mean? You can make turns in your life that will move you down paths that you never thought. Like if you're like kind of bummed, like I always look at this like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. And it's like, if you're kind of bummed, like if you look at yourself in the mirror and go, I'm fucking kind of bummed, my life's not that good right now. It's like, you're probably doing the same things pretty often. So maybe tomorrow get up and get off the left side of your bed and just start just doing a couple things different. It doesn't have to be drastic, but those things over time, by just doing different things, will push you in a different direction. And I think another thing to just speak on when you do start a brand and you're asking these individuals, like, do you love your job? Like, I love my job working in snowboarding and stuff, but 60% of the time I love it. And 40% of the time I have to do bullshit, but that's you're looking to balance that 60-40, you want to love life more than you hate it. And if you get trapped in this space that's negative, just flip that and take like maybe a shot at your dream, and know that when you do take a shot at your dream, that's not going to be a utopia. That's eternal bliss. That's the love and the hate. There's a reason why there's a yin and a yang. You need the two, but you just need slightly more love than disappointment in your job. Because like I love snowboarding. It's my favorite thing about the job. I love connecting with people. It's my favorite thing about the job. I love talking to people. It's my favorite thing about the job. setting up this studio room with a bunch of cords and not knowing what I'm doing, and the lighting looks shitty on the cameras, and then I'm editing a podcast and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't really look at those as fond memories, and my drive not saving and my computer crashing at midnight, like the process of this whole brand has been really hard and really frustrating, and I've wanted to quit so much, but the love that I have that continues to push me to keep going forward it outbalances that. So hopefully people take a shot at their dreams, realize it's not going to be perfect. Even the cab driver, like that I said, loved his job. Like, yeah, every once in a while he gets a flat tire and he gets a person in the back that's an asshole, and he's like, maybe I don't really love this job that much. But then it's a sunny day and somebody's like, hey, can you tell me a little bit about this street? And they're like, yeah, I can. You know what? Like Frank Sinatra used to play, and and then you're like, I do love this job. But try to maybe make it that balance where it's kind of like the 60-40, because no job that you absolutely love is perfect all the time.
Jody, it's not because you chasing your dream or you listen to yourself that you won't struggle. Like, people think when they look at my Instagram, they're like, oh, Lucas is doing great. He doesn't need my like. He doesn't need my comment. He's doing great. Let me tell you something. I struggle every day. We might think that, oh, this snowboarder, this legendary actor, life is a battle. And even for Leonardo DiCaprio, you might think like, this guy is a billionaire. We don't give a fuck. He has a lot of problems in a different way. It's like being like well known, and if you can't go outside, that's a bummer. What I mean, it's like, as you said, 60-40. Like, it's not because you're living the dream that it doesn't mean that it's hard. And it's important to say, like, yes, I live the dream because I feel like I live the freedom of like, you know what, tomorrow I go to Melbourne. Why? Just because I just want to go. And what day it is? It's Monday. Oh, Monday you're supposed to work. Not me. Sunday you not work. I do work. There's no rules for me. It's like I see things really differently. But yes, I struggle. Yes, sometimes I doubt about like what I do, but this excites me to make things better all the time and to feel like I can do better. And it's not easy to live your dream, and don't get me wrong, it's like chasing your dream is a lot of sacrifices again, and it's a lot of work too. And you might think like this person or this person are like everything's perfect, but even like your biggest, like the person you think like they don't need help, they don't need support because they're already big, that's not true. Give your like. Don't be greedy, And all my friends thinks I'm doing super well, And I don't want to get into this, but for example, like as every artist, you sell stuff like prints and stuff, like all the prints and like art I sell to people I don't know, never to my friends. You know why? I don't ask them. It's probably because they think I'm good enough. I don't need the support. But I feel like I'm not asking them to buy anything at all. I'm just saying, like, I've heard like this podcast of this guy saying like, if all our friends just like comment and give a like, it would change everything, Like, why it's all my supporters as people I don't know, and all my close friends that don't look at it anymore just because they think I'm like, I don't need that support, I won't notice it. Yes, I will. I think like the core group of friends should be like always behind. Even if your friend is super big, no, I'm still the same person. Like, I'm still Lucas. I love people and I will never think I'm better than anyone. And just like, I think it's important to remember like everybody needs love and support.
Yeah, and you get that through an incredible friendship with people and an incredible community. And what I've realized, which is sad, is sometimes the community can be more uplifting than your close friends. And I don't think close friends do it intentionally, but I think when you meet somebody, you often remember that person as the person that you first met or whatever, and you kind of put them in this box, and like, your friends start to see you do really well in art, and you're traveling the world and you're painting all these buildings and collaborating with their favorite companies. Close friends are some of the first people who get jealous, envious, and when you talk to them and share your milestones, and you're hoping more than ever that this person who you shared a life with is the most happy for you, sometimes it can feel like they're not, you know what I mean? And that's hard sometimes. Like, it can be family members or friends or whatever, but some of the closest people in your life, and based on where they are in their life, you know what I mean? Maybe they're in a hole, maybe they're depression, maybe they lost all their money or whatever. But like, when your friends are genuinely happy for you, and your family, like, and you can see that it's fucking genuine, like, it is such a good feeling. But it's true, like, you know, if all of your closest friends in the world supported your business, like, the world would be a lot further off. And starting Airtime, like I get it. Like, it wasn't that good of a podcast when it first started. Like, I'm not the best speaker. I'm not like a, you know, like a Huberman Lab podcast, somebody who can navigate conversation perfectly and stuff like that. I have hit my head a million times, you know, but I do love this. And the biggest supporters for the show typically haven't been like my closest friends, you know what I mean? And I'm not even calling them out in this, you know what I mean? Not every one of your closest friends needs to love what you do, but there is a, like, if we could all only support our closest friends a touch more, you know? If your friend starts a candle company, or like, just buy the fucking candle even if you don't like it.
So
you know what I
true.
mean? Like,
So true.
just like once a year, twice a year, like, you know, whatever you can do, like, to support your friends. Everyone talks about the local community, but there is almost more support in the local community than there is your local closest friend group. And I don't think people need to realize when you start a business that when your closest friends talk to you genuinely about how excited they are about what you're doing, it sometimes is a difference from you quitting or keep going. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you do meet somebody that you really look up to and they make you feel like what your brand is, it's shitty. And so you come home and you're like, fuck, why do I keep pushing, you know? And then one of your friends is like, they keep you going sometimes when you want to quit, is kind of what I'm saying. And it like, as somebody who's wanted to quit this so many times, it is wild how many people have sent me a DM that is wholeheartedly genuine and like, keep going, man, like, don't quit. And it's like, those are the things that keep you going. And it's an exceptional thing that community and close friends have the ability to change your whole life when you are starting a brand or a business or starting any new venture in your life, a relationship, you know, like, your community is the thing that can keep you going. I look at like the Schmob crew, just because to correlate the Common Line, which is your event that we just had here in Whistler, you enrolled this crew that's from Whistler called Schmob. And those are all young kids. And I think the one thing that really keeps them going, probably without them even knowing, is just how much support the community has given them. You know, that reinforcement that, like, listen, like, your videos are only going to continue to get better, but like, your first one with all your friends is fucking incredible. Like, keep going. And it's like, that's probably going to motivate them to not quit. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I guess it's a fragile state. Would you agree that any artist or anybody starting a brand can be in? And I think that the support that a community can give that individual it's not only necessary, it's literally, it is the thing that keeps people going, I think, especially before your business is massive. Like, would you attest to that? Has there ever been times where you have wanted to quit or got in your head as an artist and you're like, sometimes I feel like as an artist, you must look at the wall and just be like, fuck the way I do art. I'm fucking over all this. And you want to tear it down, and then somebody says something. Has there ever been an instant like that in your career where it's kept you going through like a darker place?
All the time. People like sees me like, oh, Lucas is all good, you know, super positive. But yeah, I have a dark side, you know, and I am never satisfied, you know. That's the thing. You know, I could paint the biggest building in the Fifth Avenue in New York. In the moment, I'm stoked, and then once I go down, I'm like, what's next? I'm this kind of this person that is like, I don't know, I'm scared of the future, you know, just like, is everything's gonna stop, you know? Yeah, I'm super motivated to make it happen and to keep going things. And I just think like I'm living a dream that is so special that every day I'm like, am I going to be back to those days where I was just like down of like, oh, who am I going to be later? So even if I do good, the next day I'm like, what's next? You might ask me like, why do I do so many different things? Like I was in New York 2 months ago. I work with the food industry. I brought together 12 restaurants from Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I created a collective. And you had to take a bike and go from a restaurant to another. I met owners and amazing people. I had the best food ever. And you go, why you do that? I'm like, because I get bored as well super fast. Like if you ask me when I painted the last time, like besides a quick drawing, maybe 2 months ago. As a painter, wow. It's just I want to do new things all the time. And I'm like, I feel life for me is just like it's a big book of chapters, I'm chapter 44 now. And what I love to say is like, at 44, I met you for the first time, Jody. What made us to meet right now? I try to think about it. It's like the journey of like from being born in 1981. What age you are? Like
I'm 37.
37. It took you to 37 to meet me and 44 years to meet you. And it's not like random. It's just like we had a crazy life to at some point meet. And I really think that every single person that I meet, not just say hi, let's say have a conversation, have a connection. You part of my journey and you're as important as anything, And what I mean is like, I don't take anything for granted. And even, I get sometimes like crazy project where this big company get a paycheck that I can stop working for 1 year. The next day, I have this little kid, 14 years old. He's like, bro, I've been following you forever. I don't have the money to buy this, but I keep following you. And I'm like, bro, give me your address. What I mean is like, it's so important for me to tell the world, especially for myself, to be like, there's a room for anybody. If you want to support me, great. You don't have to have money. Just ask me what you want. You saw me like any people can talk to me and bring like a car. Like, bring your car, I paint it right away. How much do I owe you? Nothing. If you want to give me something, fine, but I feel like I love the accessibility on things. Why things should be just for rich people? Like I bought my ticket here in Whistler, like everybody does, and it was like, wow, that's fucking expensive. I got the money to cover it. But what about the young kid? Like, why is it why life is so expensive? And that's why we need help, what do you need from me? I got those kids are like, yeah, I would love to talk to Adidas, Nike or Reebok. And I'm like, yes, but what do you want to do? What do you want? Because I can't help you, but you need to tell me a little bit more. Like, I can't give you the email like this. And I have a good example of something that's very important. I met this guy. He worked for whatever company. And I was like, how did you start working with this company? It was just like, it was my dream to work with them. And I was like, how did you make it happen? That's a good example of like, because everybody sends CV, to get a job, and man, forget about it. So difficult, like LinkedIn things, like it's all politics, and it's like they already have the guy before you even like try to get the job. And he told me, and I was like, how did you get the job? I just opened an Instagram page, a fan page of the brand. And every day he was posting like interview, stuff that you never heard about it, and tagging the company. 4 months later, he got a call. Bro, we need to talk. And then he's like the community manager of the brand because he's the biggest fan of the brand ever. So what I mean is that you want to have a job, you want to work for this company, don't send CV or whatever. Just create a platform that shows the love you have for this person and this brand. And I swear you get noticed tomorrow. And then they say, can you come over when you talk to you? So I was like, wow, I'm blown away because this is probably the best way to, like, you love like airtime? Don't just send a DM. Just like create something and just like maybe like keep the best quote that you noticed from this and just like keep doing this. Then I'm sure Jody will hit you up and be like, hey, come on stage.
Okay, you said you're on chapter 44 in your life. Moving into chapter 45, what would you like to see? What are some milestones that you want to hit? Who do you want to evolve into?
I have big dreams. I'm far to be done. The common line just started. So I hope in 2025, like the common line becomes a thing and will grow. And I want to involve more people. I don't want to talk about the second chapter of the common line because I already have a vision of the next chapter. But let's go step by step. My biggest dream is really related to people. You know, when I talk about like, if you ask me overall, why do you have all of this? Because I want to make a better world. Sounds crazy, but I see so many fucked up things every day. People fighting down the street because they picked your spot for the car. I saw like crazy fucking drama about just like a fucking parking spot. I saw people died for just like a parking spot. Fuck you, and they hate everywhere, and making.
They died over that?
Huh?
They died?
Yeah, just like a bad punch in the face, and like, I mean,
damn,
it's happening every day. Oh, getting stabbed for a cigarette, you know, like stuff like that. It's happening every day. And my biggest goal and my struggle nowadays. What I love to do in life is not to put myself there or to become a bigger artist or whatever, is just to spread a message. My message is, again, I repeat myself, is like, I want people to be themselves and thrive and have a living that is special to them. But my problem is like, how do I reach out to 8 billion people about it? So yes, I have a platform on Instagram, but what is it? How many people I touch? How many I can reach, you know? So I'm happy I can talk to you because I really value every single person that I talk with to spread this message of like, I just want to spread the message of love of like, you can make it happen. I swear you can make it happen because I come from so far away. I grew up in a small town where it's like, it was almost impossible to have the life that I have nowadays because nobody helped me. I like to be a mentor for some people if they need to. I never had a mentor. I never had anyone to help me. So I kind of like had to make it happen myself. But yeah, it's like, can I have a mic tomorrow and be able to speak to 8 billion people? That's my dream. I don't know how it could happen, but I'm like on my way to bigger audiences. Like, let's say tomorrow, if I do a TV show, for example, I don't want to talk about myself. I just want to spread this message about, you know, like making a better world, you know, like this, making a better world. That's my dream.
What's one piece of advice you have for the planet, humans?
Oh, that's a good question. There's small, I feel like there's little like tasks and little things that we are responsible for, you know. It's like every day I go bike or I just go for a walk and I see trash. Pick up the trash, put it in the bin. I see fucked up things of people like throwing a can from the car. I almost want to chase them and like, but then what's gonna happen? A fight and they're gonna kill me, you know? I just think like there's like, to make a better world, we have to be responsible to our little like garden, you know? It's just like, if you see you know what I like to say? If you see trash on the ground, if you look at it, you're responsible of this. If you see the can and you don't pick up, put it on the trash, you're as bad as the person that threw it away. So just do the little thing that is around your garden and world will be way better. Like, just like, you know, I'm Jody. I'm aware of like, I'm just this dude with 2 hands and like, I can't save the world, but I'm trying my best way to, if everybody wants to save the world, we will save it. You know what I mean? And that's just this, you know, it's like, are we going to continue to wake up and open like the TV and see like, oh, the World War III is just around the corner. I saw something that freaked me out, which is like something from France saying like, oh, I don't want to freak out anybody, just saying like, something bad will happen in 2030. And it was like, instead of saying like, we have to be prepared for a new war, what if we are prepared for a better world? What if we just sit down and try to save problems and try to be more generous, more curious, more helping? What is it going to happen? Another war? Like the world will explode. For what? what benefit, you know? So it's like, I was just like very fucking shocked that we're in 2020, almost 6. And it's like in 4 years, something crazy will happen. It's like, why you don't take the 4 years to just create peace in this world rather than be prepared for a big fight. I was like, my mom called me. I'm like, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, but it's fucked up. I don't believe that. We should change this thing. We have 4 years to take these guys and say, what are you talking about? Who want to fight? Come here. Let's sit down and talk, you know?
I've been trying to do this thing on the plane because I've been a big hater on public transit for a long time because I wonder where these people come from with their horrible manners. But like I was on the plane the other day and this guy it was the classic like trying to scramble through everybody, which is sometimes people are going to miss their flight. You know what I mean? I've been that guy in the back of the plane. But some people are just doing it in a way that's just clearly very rude. And there's an older lady in front of them that has the luggage and kind of knocking them out of the way. Like I've been doing this thing where like, if you genuinely just do this old practice of just kill them with kindness, you can see the shift in their head of they know they're kind of being an asshole. And if you're just genuinely nice to them, like, hey, can I help you with your luggage? They're expecting you to go like get mad at them. And when you're not, and I think it changes their day, then they leave the plane and then their mood's a little bit better. So then they're like, maybe they hold the door for somebody. The ripple effect of just going out into the world and being nice is so profound, I think. And if everybody can do that, the ripple effect is going to hit the people in the weirdest places of the world. And I think that it would change it too, because so many of us, you bump into somebody in a city and it's turning into these little isolated boxes of humans that are walking around that are no longer feeling like we're connected, like we're one. So it's just like individuals walking past each other with no compassion, no empathy. And I think that if you did have those things and the person that's beside you at the bus stop can feel that, there's only a ripple effect if you like let your energy touch somebody else's energy. And walking through a city right now, I just feel like everyone's energy is like, it's mine and it's for my friends and fuck everybody else. And it's like, yeah, you can feel that in a city right now. And that's why I think like cities are these huge, dangerous places if people don't open up a little bit more and be a little bit more of a human to start that ripple effect and make it feel better. Because you look at like somebody who's working in a business suit and then the guy doing heroin and like they both look at each other like they're not like they both hate each other, you know? And it's tough because, you know, drugs is a tough one because someone who's on fentanyl has kind of gone to a different planet, you know what I mean? But like, you know, maybe just the person that's on the side of the road that looks homeless, that isn't on fentanyl, that's not being mean, like maybe show them a bit of kindness and just see where that can go, you know? And I think, you know, it's as old as time, but if everybody is just a little bit more fucking kind, 5% more, especially over the holidays, we're going to be moving into the holidays here soon. People who aren't kind during the holidays can spiral the mom who's driving home to have like a fucking car accident or just come home and yell at the family. You know what I mean? Like just a bit more, I think would change things in a good direction. And to kind of finish on what I was talking about before is like, be a little bit more kind to your friends who are starting a business if they're not good at it. Like there's a way to give constructive feedback that's going to continue that person to allow that person to continue down that path they're at. And if somebody's finally stepping out of their comfort zone, starting a business, starting to paint, if you don't like it, maybe don't say that you hate it, but just be like, it's fucking pretty good for your first one. Congrats, you know? And those little acts of kindness can go a long way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, why commenting the bad? It's the same with when I travel the world. Sometimes I have like bad experience with a hotel or whatever. It's like, if it's not good, I just skip it. But if it's good, I say it. So I'm more like, you know, it's just like, I'm a foodie person. I go to I try to chase like those restaurants, and you know what happens all the time is like when I go to a place, I have the plate, I eat, and it's like sometimes I have like insane feeling of like how good it is. You know what I do? I stand up, go to the kitchen without asking permission, and like and I hug everyone. I said, "What happened here? Like you gave me so much love I want to tell you, like, I don't need to comment everything. I just want to tell you straight in the eyes that you blew my mind. And I almost had an orgasm. And then people like, what's going on? We never experienced that. I don't like people say that they don't express themselves. Let's say you have the most insane food in front of you. You eat and you're like, did you like it? Okay. I'm like, deserve a little bit more, I guess. A little bit more of love,
So you
know?
appreciate the raw.
Say it.
Yeah.
Express it, you know?
It's kind of like the whiskey movie last night that we went and watched, the new whiskey documentary. And at the end there, Sean Johnson's talking about how men forever weren't really allowed to express it. And he's like, what a dark world we live in where a man who loves his friend isn't able to just communicate a feeling that they have for another friend. You know what I mean? And then something happens to that person or whatever. It's obviously that's a little bit more like deeper of that. But like, yeah, I do like that point where it's like, if you are experiencing something, especially something that's as like delicious as a meal or as awesome as having a close friend, like let those things be known because back to the ripple effect, they kind of fucking have one.
Because everybody needs love.
Yeah, and if
Everyone,
the chef blew it, go back and just punch him in the face,
No, same with like,
This meal fucking sucked.
bro, I can be hard on it, Sometimes I get like food is like, I don't want to eat that. Why not? Because did you try? Try it.
Yeah, totally.
But I won't spend hours hating on it. I don't want to comment on it. I just want to spread the good. And people say, yeah, but if it's not good, tell it. I'm like, I have better things to do. If it's mind blowing, I'll tell. If it's good, I tell. If it's like piece of shit or whatever, not.
Sometimes you need constructive criticism.
Yeah,
though.
but you know what I do? Mostly, with humility, I educate them. I'm like, can I tell you what's wrong with this? I'm Italian, half Italian. I love, al dente pasta. It's like I can tell that it's overcooked by just saying it. I'm like, I don't want to try. Why? Because I know it's not al dente. And then you want me to try? Okay, and I'm like, sorry. Can I go to the kitchen and I just like talk to the chef and like we make it together? Are you fucking crazy? I'm like, no, I just want to tell you like this is. So I have a conversation. But with respect, I'm like, this is not good. Why? Okay, sit down. And again, it's not like you say that. Yeah, but it's like your taste. I'm like, al dente is al dente. It's not taste,
Yeah, medium rare is medium rare.
Yeah, exactly.
Over easy eggs are over easy eggs. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like there's like, yeah. And that depends on the restaurant though. You know what I mean? If you're going to the restaurant, if you're going to, a 2-star, like like Joe's fucking barbecue grill, like it's like that's just outside of the town, like maybe the al dente pasta is not going to be cooked like you want it,
Yeah, but why not, Jody? Why a restaurant?
Because you're going to a barbecue joint and ordering pasta.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, why is I think we should elevate things everywhere.
I agree. I'm just playing devil's advocate because like sometimes if you're going to a Ukrainian restaurant and then you walk in there and ask for an al dente pasta because you go on the last page and they're like pasta dishes, like maybe it's on you to be like, if you're at the Thai place, maybe order the pho.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Or is pho Vietnamese? Did I blow that? I don't know. I'm not a big pho eater. I just threw in a soup there.
I think it's Vietnamese. Yeah, it is.
Okay,
it
so
is.
yeah, maybe that's your fault for going to the Thai place. Okay, because Lucas is off quickly here because he's got to head down to his next show of the Common Line. Big shout outs to you for putting on this event. Thank you so much for including me. It was a pleasure to meet you. One of my favorite things about you over the last 3 days that I got to kind of just witness how you carry yourself and stuff is, like I was saying a little bit earlier, you gave people time. And I think with that, it looked as if, to me, and my human and how I digest stuff, it looked fucking genuine, which I really like about you. You know what I mean? Like you can tell when someone's showing up and checking the boxes and stuff, but you came here to a place where you probably don't know that many people. You put yourself in a vulnerable new position to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm new, I'm hyped on snowboarding, I'm hyped on the community. Are people going to show up? They rallied, they showed up. The shout outs to the Whistler and Sea to Sky community for showing up to these last 3 days. They were super special, and shout outs to you for just being a genuine person who seems to just genuinely fucking care about others, which I think everybody here can take that into the the new year of 2026, be 5% nicer to fucking people, and it'll make a drastic impact on the planet. And maybe we will avoid World War III. That would be dope. I think we can all agree on that.
Maybe the common line will.
We're gonna change the world here.
But yeah, thanks for having me. And again, like I feel like to finish this conversation and about the common line, I think it happened. I mean, I don't want to say the success behind it. I mean, the power behind it. It's because of us. And I thanks everyone that came. And through this podcast, I want to say thanks to everyone. It was what it is because we were together in this. And if it was just you and me, it would have been like a bummer, And I think everyone's involved played their role. You did an amazing job by bringing incredible people together for the round table. But even more, I know about it. And then Evo like hosted us. And then we have the local shredders that spread the word, the circle. I think it's like everything is a success because we all are together doing our part. And if you think that just like spreading the word is nothing, no, you're wrong. I think everybody has something to play on something. And I want to say thanks to the whole BC community that came over, thanks to help to make it like what it is.
I agree. And big shout outs to Vans and K2 for supporting the podcast. This one was a quick one, so I didn't really have time to just quickly throw in their stuff, but I'm riding the Vans Verse this year. Blake Paul, my favorite boot. It's the stiffest in the line. By far my fave. I've been on it for probably 5-6 days right now, just past that breaking point, and it's feeling mint. Highly recommend that for someone who's on a bit more of the charging style of snowboarding. And K2, I'm riding the Alchemist this year. Their whole line is out on k2.com, k2snow.com, I believe. If you type in K2 Snow on your Google search bar, you will end up on their website, and they got a whole new line, and so does Vans. Shout outs to you guys. You can also purchase them on thesourceboards.com. We got 1 minute. Let's see if we can get through 10 questions with one word answers here. Your first concert you ever went to?
No FX.
Sick. Childhood hero.
Sylvester Stallone.
Who's that?
Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, Sylvester.
Oh, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
Rocky. No, that's
Sylvester
sick.
Stallone.
That's so sick, dude.
Rocky, man.
First job.
My dad's restaurant.
Nice. El Dante. One piece of life advice, in short.
Be curious.
Be curious. That's dope. What keeps you up at night?
Emails.
Favorite skate and snow movie?
Simple Pleasure and Fulfill the Dream.
Good picks. Favorite current artist?
I love Jeff McFedridge.
Favorite artist from, like, let's go 1800s previous or 1900s previous, like favorite like painter artist.
Like old one?
Yeah, older painter.
I'd say honestly Picasso.
Good
Honestly,
pick.
like it. And let's say Keith Haring for sure. It's like I have a big story about this, but yeah, Keith Haring, of course. And I have one, Fernand Léger, French, incredible, from the 19th century, same era of Picasso. Fernand Léger, incredible.
Yeah, my wife works at the Odane Art Museum here, and they got a bunch of exhibits. They have one of the biggest collections of Emily Carr paintings, which I've never knew too much about her, but seeing all of her work, wow, incredible. And then Salvador Dali's my favorite. My dad's a big fan. My alarm's even going off to let you know that your bus is here. All right, 2 more questions. Career highlight.
Career highlight? What do you mean?
Career highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a monumental moment throughout the course of your life that shifted things, or it's really impactful for you.
Oh, skateboarding, for sure.
Sweet. Career highlight: the invention, finding skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
Your favorite country you've ever traveled to?
Japan.
Who's the GOAT of skateboarding, snowboarding, and art?
Peter Smolik. Snowboarding, honestly, Brian Iguchi. And art, Fernand Léger.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Be a good person. Have fun. Go snowboarding. It's more fun than you remember. And thank you so much. The Common Line is going to be moving around the whole world. Check it out. There's a website, thecommonline.com.
.org.
Thecommonline.org. Follow Lucas for more details and just, join the club. And if you can support that event, do it. It's incredible. As somebody who just went to it, was immersed in it, it's real. The kids were happy. The mid-tier people were happy. The old people were happy. Everybody who came was fucking stoked. You knocked it out of the park. Thank you for finding skateboarding, finding art, and then dragging it over into our snowboard community, because we need as many community events as possible, because there's one person in there that it changes the course of their life or whatever, puts a little bit more energy into this.
Thank
We
you,
did our
Jody,
job.
for what you're doing, man.
Thank you. Peace.